Hey there, welcome back to Well-Oiled Operations. Now, before somebody joins our program, once in a while we'll have somebody say, I'd love to see how Stacy coaches. Is there a way that I can watch something or hear something or join something temporarily to see if this is really going to be the program for me? So I am using today's episode to actually give you some behind the scenes coaching. And whether it's just for you to get great coaching too, maybe one of these questions will apply, amazing. Or you're somebody that would like to see what it looks like to get coaching from me, this is your opportunity. Now, I'm going to be covering. Here are the questions that we have, and we'll put the timestamps in the show notes. If you just want to skip to that one question, go for it. But if you want to hear how I'm coaching, how I'm working with somebody, then listen to the whole episode. Okay, question number one, how to get a new employee to take ownership. Love this question. When is it a good time to bring on a business partner? How can I figure out my critical number, which is the number we teach in our program of like really tracking? How to delegate and get tasks off the CEO's plate? How to plan and stick to the plan, how to create that roadmap, and then how to organize who reports to who with new hires. So you're going to hear me, you're going to hear somebody ask me this question, and you're going to hear me respond and answer to it. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully there are some good questions in there where you'd like to hear the answer. So enjoy. All right. I am so happy somebody has kicked us off with questions because it usually sparks more questions. So Elizabeth, I would love to hear your question. Let's jump in. We'll get some coaching. Anybody else that wants to talk, hit the raise your hand icon. So Elizabeth, take it away.
Hi. So this is like right on where I'm kind of struggling with the people and the plan.
Okay.
And so I have my first employee, and I was thinking with this role, I really had growth in mind for them, like really wanting them to take full ownership of the kind of fulfillment portion of it. And so they're learning and doing well, but like the main part of like the role is going good, but I'm trying to get them to take on maybe more. And we've been together for 5 weeks only, which is like 9 to 10 days. So it's like hard.
Yeah. So here's my question for you. Do they know you want them to take on more ownership? Like, have you actually said that to them?
From the beginning, I said it, but I did say that we were focusing on the main tasks to begin with.
Okay. So a lot of times it just comes down to like new people don't want to mess things up. They just want to do what the boss wants, and they don't know what the boss wants usually, right? So they're just like trying to do everything and they don't really know where the priority is. So the more you can remind them, today we're going to talk about the importance of meeting with people, whether that's just one-on-one or whatever it is, but to be reminding them and to be rewarding them when it happens. So I always use the analogy with my kids because it really is just like parenting, right? So our value for the month is self-reliance. So yesterday, my daughter's like, Mom, could you give me? And then she stopped. And then she's like, never mind. And then she went and she grabbed her own cup of water and did it. And I immediately said, what do you like? What do you need? And she's like, nothing, I got it. And I was like, are you being self-reliant right now? And she's like, mm-hmm. And they want to hear that you've caught it, you're acknowledging it. And this is exact. So I'm like, amazing, great job. Like, this is exactly what we talked about, right? They want to hear what's working, what you liked, how do we do more of that, right? And the more you acknowledge what you want to see and what you've been seeing, the more you're going to get out of that. Because guess what? People want to feel like rock stars. And when they know they're going to get a good job because they did X activity, right? It will start to happen more. So today, when we cover team meetings, I want you thinking about what are you going to say this week to this person to get super clear on where they're excelling, where you'd like to see some improvement, and how that happens. So when you say, I would love to see you take more ownership, they might be thinking, what does that mean? Like they might not even know. Like you have to say, okay, and when I say ownership, what I mean is I'd love for you to come up with your own idea on Monday when we meet and present it to me without me even asking you to do that. Like every week, I just want you to bring me a new idea. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that, right? They just don't know what it looks like. So the more you can describe it in detail, the better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that the part that I'm like trying to really focus on is that I believe that they can do the job, but like, is it the right fit for the first employee?
Is it the right fit? Like, did you pick the right position or did you pick the right person or both?
Both.
Okay. What is this position?
So it's an assistant, an
Okay.
operations assistant, but
Okay.
they're mostly focusing on fulfillment.
Okay. I don't think an assistant is ever a bad move. So I don't think the role is a bad role to bring in to help you, because somebody who can assist you is going to be major. Is it the right person? Before you can decide that, you have to ask, like, are you giving him or her the tools they need to make that happen? Like when I brought Sarah into the program, to the company, the first thing I did was I said, listen, I bought you a program because I don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. And I wanted her to come in and feel supported, even if it wasn't by me, but it still was by me because I bought it and I helped her and I went through it so we could have a conversation about it. If you're bringing somebody in and you're kind of like, can't you figure out what to do? Right? Not a good plan of attack for any role in your business, especially an assistant, because they're trying to help take off things off of your plate. So you really should know how to say, hey, help me do this. And this is what I need. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. It's
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah. If anybody else has a question, hit the raise your hand and we'll bring you on. We'll get your question answered. I want to kind of expand upon this a tiny bit more. So this is such a common thing. We think I need help, then we hire. And now we're like looking at each other like, so what are you going to do? How are you am I supposed to tell you what to do? Like, we don't know what that next step is, or like, how do we make them productive? And then we're thinking, wait, is it them? Is it their fault? Right? A lot of times it is our fault. A lot of time, and not our fault. It's just, we just don't know, right? We have not maybe been in this role and we don't know how to do it. But the more you start to do this and the more you bring people on, you're going to realize how much support really they need, right? All right, Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, so I have a production studio.
Yep.
And we've been pouring all of our own financial resources into it and doing some crowdfunding and fundraisers and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at that threshold where I took a pretty big risk with one of our projects, and I need somebody not to bail me out, but to help me build out the continued growth. And so in the industry, 20% is a normal ROI.
Okay.
Like, when is a good time to bring that person on board as a business partner to help do that build out, knowing I can't guarantee them that 20% ROI? 10% I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But like, when's that space and time to do that?
Okay. So do you have any business partners right now?
So I do have some friends and family that invested in the studio up front. So yes,
Okay.
about 49 people there.
But like, are they actually making decisions with you, or are they just investors? Okay.
They're just
So yeah. So I mean, we work with a lot of different people. We've seen lots of partnerships. Partnerships can be very, very difficult. There are some that have worked really well, and they're because they just have certain skill sets that are very opposite. They complement each other well. Some do. That's not the norm. So what I would suggest for you is, instead of thinking, let me bring on a partner, I would be thinking, what person do I need to hire? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I would love to, because like, I've got them all around me. I just don't have the cash flow to do that.
So you're thinking, if they're a partner, then I don't have to pay for them. And okay, but that is really short-term thinking, because temporarily you don't have to pay them, but for the rest of your life, you'll be paying them and you'll be making decisions with them. So what I would be asking myself is, like, what is my quickest, easiest way to bring in cash right now so I could afford to hire somebody versus finding a partner? That's just my honest opinion. I've had a few partnerships. I have none of them anymore. I've seen them end really badly. It's really difficult. Again, there are unicorns. We have some clients that have partnerships that are running great, but there are just things that they have done, or it's like they found the perfect opposite person and it works so well, but it's just not the norm. So I would be very careful before taking on a partner.
So if I did take on a partner, maybe give them an exit plan, like in a year, maybe 2 years.
If you took on a partner, I would be very clear on, like, I am still the sole decision maker. I have the final say. I would make them, like, make sure you're a majority owner, and I would let them know what that looks like. The problem is, I had a friend who had a partner and she was at 10 million a year. And she realized, like, I'm the brains, I'm doing everything, I need to get out. It was a massive lawsuit. It cost her so much money. She basically had to scrap all the products she had and start over. And she literally said, worst decision I have ever made in my entire life. So it's like, even an exit plan, it needs to be so crystal clear that they know what is going to happen, what that's going to look like, what happens with the products you've been selling. Do they still get a royalty? I mean, there's so much there. I would want you to talk to a lawyer for sure who specializes in partnerships.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Heather. Hi, Heather. Welcome.
Hello. I wanted to ask you about, Sarah and I talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to get your opinion on figuring out my critical number.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm a corrective skincare clinic, and Sarah and I had talked about doing my most profitable facial being my critical number.
Okay.
Is there anything else I should consider when I'm trying to decide what critical number I'm going to focus on?
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, we're going to talk critical number today. So don't be like, what is she talking about? Okay. So it's not as, sometimes we feel like, oh my goodness, but I sell so much stuff. Like, how could I just have this one thing be it? But what happens is when you're focused on your best seller, other stuff makes money too, right? So they walk in and you're focused on like the one thing, but pretty soon there's add-ons, there's upsells, there's, they're like, okay, now what else can I do here? So I don't want you to think like, once I set this, it's over. Like I would say, if you feel like this is your most profitable and a great way to get people in, then start to really track that number, but know that you're not married to it. You could change it in 6 months, in a year, right? I mean, every year we're reassessing, do we have the right bestseller? So was there any reason you were hesitant to pick the facial?
So I do corrective skincare treatments, but we also have people that come in and just want to do a relaxing facial. So to get that most profitable facial, first you have to do a new client facial.
Okay.
And I didn't want to focus on new client facial as my critical number, because then I feel like I'm only focusing on getting new clients. And I really want to focus on my existing clientele.
Okay. I actually really love that thought process, right? Like you already worked through, I know the first entry point is new client. So maybe what you're doing when you're building out, your same pager, maybe what you're doing is the thing that sells the thing is like new client facials is one of the things that sells the most profitable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I actually think you are right on track.
Okay.
Like your thought process right now is dialed in.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on that?
No, I think that's it. I think I'll stick with that. But if in a few months I feel like I need to change, I'll ask you another question.
Yeah, totally. And welcome. I know you signed up to join us. So welcome to Well Oiled. So happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, so happy to have you here. And so everybody else listening, we're going to dive into critical number in just 15 minutes. Tomorrow, if you're like, I want to do what Heather just did together, we can do that with you guys tomorrow. Is there anything else anybody has a question on based off of yesterday's training, or something you're struggling with right now in your business that you want guidance on? Tiffany, go for it. Oh, you're still muted. Sorry. Hit the unmute button. There you go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right, perfect. So I own a screen printing and embroidery business.
Okay.
And also to say to Deborah, I was one of the norm with a partner that did not end well.
Yeah.
But on another note, I currently have 2 full-time employees and a part-time employee. We are continuing to grow. Our goal this year is to try to hit 500,000 in revenue.
Yep.
And I'm kind of at a critical point where I'm looking at potentially adding another employee, but would like to get delegating is basically my question. Like I'm working on, a lot of the things you talked about yesterday about how your business depends too much on you. That is 100% true for me. And I'm at the point where trying to start, I can't hardly be gone for a couple of hours even.
Yeah.
So just start trying to do some of that. And I'm just curious about anything you could share as far as processes or anything as far as
okay. So, and we'll get into this today, which is perfect for you. So we want to start to look at the people we have and maximizing them first. So a lot of times I'll have somebody say to me, okay, I really need to hire this position. And then all of a sudden we realize like they've got somebody who could easily do this thing for them, right? On the team already. So I want to make sure today, as you're listening to the training, who's on your team? Are they doing the right stuff? Could we, some of the things you wanted to delegate and hire, could we just remove some of that and give it to who we already have. Now, sometimes you might go, no, they're totally maxed out. There's nothing we can remove. Then you know it is time to hire, but you want to ask yourself, when I hire this person, how will this make us more money? How will this impact the business? Okay. Because there are positions you can hire that don't increase the revenue and it just dips right into your profit. So what would this new person be doing? Like, what are some tasks or things you would delegate?
So honestly, one of the things you said is I would like to maximize my current people, to be honest, before I bring on another person.
Perfect.
So that's exactly where I'm at. I'm trying to maximize that. I'm kind of seeing the need. Sorry, we have lots of noise. But I'm kind of seeing we're growing really fast. We've been in business about 3 years, and every year we're doubling and tripling what we did the year before. We actually just bought a new building, moved into a new building. So I'm trying to balance maximizing my current people before I go and hire another person. So a lot of it right now is still productivity. But if I hired another person, it would be probably managing the shop. So like managing as far as everyday schedule of what's getting printed, what's coming up, because I've been the person doing that. I'm also the person working with the customers and doing the art and all of those pieces.
Okay. And sometimes it's just worth the time freedom you're going to get back. Even if you're like, they might not produce more, but they're going to give me my life back. Like you said, you can't even leave the building for a couple hours, right? That is priceless when you start to be able to leave, go on vacation and not worry about things like that. So I would say step one is really looking at the people you have, double checking the activities they're doing, the revenue they're generating, how this makes sense. What are some things, like I said to my team one time, what are like the top 3 things that you feel like if you had to cut out, or I said something like, if you had to cut out 5 hours a week, what do you think you would cut out that you do not believe are helping the business? And that was pretty eye-opening to be like, great, I agree. We're not going to do that stuff. Instead, I want you to focus on this, right? That could maximize them a lot. And then from there, when they're cleaned up, then you bring on another person. Because bringing on another person when you haven't cleaned up your existing people is not going to help the business. It's going to make it messier.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And processes is our big thing right now, starting to where I'm not the process. It doesn't start with me. And
it's like, hey, Tiffany, how do we do this? Right? It's like, no. They know where to find it. They know how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Really good question. Thank you for asking that. Claudia, go for it.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
Annie, I don't know if you're delving into this during the week, but I struggle with planning, sticking to plans, having a roadmap. I know what the destination is, just not really sure what, road to get there. And then my issue is that it's constantly changing, and it becomes, so I'm pretty good at systemizing things.
Okay.
But they consistently get changed because the overall plan changes.
Okay. So the destination, once you've set it, you really want to stick to it unless there isn't like 100%, you should never have picked that. It's not in alignment with where you're going. Maybe it was your ego that wanted this and it's like, no, this is really what I want. But the destination should almost never change. The way that you get there does, okay? Because you don't know how to get there or you would already be there, okay? Like think about it. If you want to hit $1 million, you would already be hitting it if you knew how to do it. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. So I'm okay with the planning phase changing of like the action items and the marketing and the things you're trying, but the destination should not be changing. So when people are changing products and now they're doing this and now they're changing their niche, and it's like, there is no way that they're having this profitable year, right? If the destination is staying the same, no matter what I try or what I throw at you, but well-oiled is always the thing I'm talking about, you're not confused, right? But if I decide to do an Instagram live about something that still leads there, or a challenge that leads there, or a webinar that leads there, you're not confused. Like it's all in alignment and the outcome is like, sell our bestseller, right? So that's where I would say, get clear on the bestseller, but be okay with the plan changing of how you get there. Now, I have to say this. So many times people are trying things too fast and they're not implementing at the level they need to be. So when somebody's saying, like yesterday, I had a client that was like, I'm loving your challenge. I'm totally going to copy this and I'm going to do it in 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, just an FYI, I have been working on my challenge content and everything I've been preparing like all summer. Okay. So you can totally look at my challenge and model me and do it in 2 weeks, but I have a feeling it's not going to be the level at which you're hoping for. And then when the results don't happen, you'll think, well, that strategy didn't work. And it's more because of how fast things are happening. What is missing is usually preparation and time. And people are we all want that success as fast as possible. So we don't want to wait. We want to do it now. We want to go out and announce it today. And because we do it so fast, unfortunately, the results just are never what we want them to be because we're not putting the time and energy. So I just want you to like really assess, like, am I keeping the outcome the same, or is that even changing? What do you think?
I think, no, the outcome is staying the same, but I'm 100% like I rush into things, like throw money here, there, and everywhere, get upset when it doesn't work out.
Yeah. And then what happens is you stay in this hamster wheel of like trying the next thing, and then you do it fast and that didn't work. So then you've got to go try another thing. Versus if we could all just slow down and truly implement and do it which means waiting a little bit, right? Which means getting it right so that we can have the success we're looking for. And I'm very impatient myself, and I've had to learn how to get better at that. Like I always tell people, I would think of an offer and I would post it on Instagram today. And then I'd be shocked that nobody took me up on it, right? Because that's just how fast I wanted it to. But it took me many of those times to go, that strategy isn't really working. Like I got to try something different. And then slowing down, I say like pulling the bow and arrow back, right? Like the more I pull it back, the further the arrow goes. And many people just go, oop, and then it's like, that didn't work. It's because there was no prep, right? There was no intentional execution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Does
you.
that help, Claudia?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
And just now that I've kind of said that too, like just be aware with the next strategy and the next thing. And then it's like, how can we really sit with it and just do it, just implement it? I have clients that are taking the challenge this week. They already know all of the content. They're in our program, but what they're doing is they're rinsing, they're repeating, they're refining, right? They're literally just trying to soak it up to be like, what did I miss last time? How could I make this even better next time, right? The more they do it, the better the results they're getting. And then I have people that are like, oh, I don't have time to go through the content. It's like, well, then you get the results of not going through it, right? So just be careful. Great question. Okay, anybody else? We probably can do one more question before we jump into the main session. Okay, yes, Lindsay, please.
All right.
And Lindsay, you have just joined too, right?
Yeah.
Welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm a big planner and I love creating processes, and I have great people. And I'm still trying to get them all to work cohesively, if you will.
Okay.
So, and honestly, in my industry, it has been a lack of labor for a very long time, considering everything that we've gone through. So, and I really feel like that that toggle is turning, right? The people are coming, the resumes are coming, so it's happening.
Good.
So I have a number one, and I have recently hired her a number one.
Okay.
And then now tomorrow, actually, we are onboarding her number one, right?
Okay.
And she is she's going to be a receptionist for the spas as a whole. However, I've made it clear to my people that I want her responsibilities to be, I want it to drive home that she definitely is running the spas from the front desk's perspective, but she's also an assistant to her manager and whoever. So my question is, and I love org charts and I love chain of command and I love people following it. Am I allowed to ask this new gal for something, or should I go to her direct report?
Good question.
Right?
No, you can never ask her of anything.
Okay, great.
And it's because she'll be confused. Like, who's my boss? Am I here to make Lindsay's life easier? Or am I here like, oh, wait, they both asked me for something. Which one's more urgent? Okay. So what happens is so Cara reports to Sarah. So if I wanted Cara to do something like a big project, I would really want to go to Sarah first to say, can you put this on Cara's plate? Like, I don't know what Cara's working on today. So if I said to Cara, clear your schedule, I need you to do this. But Sarah's like, wait a minute, I have her doing this. We have to be on the same page, and you don't want to override your manager. So I would say to Sarah, hey, do you think Cara has time to do this? She'll be like, okay, I can make her do this in the morning, or she really doesn't. Could I give this to Trisha? Right. And now we start to see like where it makes most sense. You will save her a lot of confusion by not jumping in. It's not that you can't assign, it's just talk to her manager and her manager assigns. And then here's the best part. The manager tracks the progress. You don't have to.
Okay.
Make
No,
sense?
that's good. And I really liked your wording about, can you put this on Kara's plate? Or I'll say, can you put this on Brooke's plate?
Yeah. And you just say like, I really need this by Friday. Is that doable? Where would this fit in her calendar? Like, what can I expect?
Okay. Cause I was worried that I would be dripping things constantly on Katrina's plate, and she's going to get that overwhelmed, even though she knows she's supposed to put it on Brooke's plate. But what if she feels that sense of urgency and just wants to do it for me herself? And then
that's where you've got it. You've like, so if Sarah said, oh, I'll just do that. I would say, wait, no. I don't want you doing this. I want Kara doing this. And that's a conversation you'll have to say to her is, listen, Sarah, we're entering a new role. You know, now that you have this person, I'm going to be asking maybe her to do it. I don't want you doing it to help me out unless I know about it and I've approved that. Like when I ask you to have Kara do this, please make sure Kara is doing it because it's something she should be doing. I don't want to overwhelm you. We need to keep you fresh as well.
So yeah, I think it's just the wording, because if I would just say, hey, Katrina, I need to know X, Y, Z, but I really have to say, can you get Brooke to find me out X, Y, Z? Not.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You can always, like, I don't have to say to Sarah, we got to go in a minute. I don't have to say to Sarah, could Kara do this? I can say to Sarah, I need this to happen. And Sarah has the authority to assign it to whoever she wants, who has room for it, and just make sure it's done. So I don't actually need to be like, could you have this person do this? Could you have this? It's like, Sarah, I just need this to happen. Got it. I'll take care of it. No worries. Like it'll be done.
That's what I want. Ultimately, that's what I want.
Yeah.
But I don't want to I want the buck to be passed.
Totally. And you have to say, I am paying you now as a manager where you need to learn the skill set of delegation. You cannot keep everything on your plate and not pass it. Okay. Such a good question. So good. All right. And that wraps up today's on-air coaching. So again, I hope that some of you got some really good questions out of there that you need yourself right now. If you're like, wow, it must be so nice to be able to ask a question to Stacy or other people on her team and get a response like that, get that personalized coaching, I want you to consider Well-Oiled Operations. You can go to welloiledoperations.com. You can schedule a call, see if you're a good fit, if you would qualify for the program. And then you get a little taste of what it looks like to actually be in there and get some feedback one-on-one in real time. So welloiledoperations.com, all the details are there.